Hi everyone, so we're going to go over solving this equation for x using the quadratic formula. Again, remember that to solve the quadratic formula we need to label a, b, and c. So this is going to be my a, so off to the side I'm going to go ahead and just write a equals 2. B is the middle term or the term in front of my x. In this case it's positive 1 because of this plus sign, so b equals 1. And then c is that last term there. C is going to be negative 28 right there. So I'm going to say c equals negative 28. And then I'm going to go ahead and plug in all of these values into my quadratic formula, which is right over here. I'm going to go ahead and bring it here. In terms of how videos go, if you feel like you did the work and you kind of want to just check, feel free to just skip to the end of the video and check your work. If you are doing a side, like you're using this video to help you solve the problem, make sure you're definitely taking notes, pause the video when you need to. Don't just watch the video and not have anything with it. You definitely want to be writing your own set of notes on a separate sheet of paper, and then make sure you save that paper in your folder. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. So this actually says y equals, whoopsie, this is a mistake. Gotta fix this. This should say x equals. So this is our quadratic formula. X is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. I'm going to go ahead and take these values that I determined over here and plug them into my quadratic formula. So I have x is equal to negative, and my b term, which was just 1 right here. So it's x is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root. And then I'm going to do of b squared, b was 1, got to square it, b squared minus 4 times a times c. So in these blank spots, I'm going to put a and c. A is 2, c is negative 28. Oops, sorry, that's a little light. Negative 28. And this is all over, so b squared minus 4ac, all of it is over 2 times a. So for this part, we do want to think of this, my a term here is 2, so this is going to be a 2 here. This is 2a, this is the a right there, my 2. Again, this is a fraction, so we are going to divide these at the very, very end, but we're going to clean it up a bit first. So we're going to go ahead and go through the math. X is equal to negative 1. There's no double negative, so I can just bring it down as a negative 1. Plus or minus the square root, and I just set it up like that. Then I'm going to go ahead and do 1 squared. So 1 to the second power is 1 times 1, which is just 1. Then I'm going to multiply negative 4 times 2 times negative 28. So remember, you have to read that 4 as a negative 4. So in my calculator, I'm going to go ahead and just do negative 4 times 2 times negative 28, which is 224, positive 224. So since it was positive, I'm going to go ahead and write plus 224 here. Okay, and that's from multiplying. So I multiply to get there. Multiply. Okay, feel free to write any notes you want to yourself. Again, if you need to pause it, slow down, do what you need to do. And then it's going to go ahead and be over 2 times 2 is just 4. So that 4 on the bottom comes from the 2 times 2 here, my 2a. My square root and stuff was all that stuff inside. Okay, now I'm going to keep going. X is equal to, still no double negative, negative 1 plus or minus the square root. All I get to do is add here. 1 plus 224 is going to be 225 over 4. If you end up with a negative number inside your square root, like a negative here, something went wrong. You can't take the square root of negative numbers. So you want to make sure you definitely have a positive number in there. And then from this step, remember what you do. Sorry, I'll slow down for you guys. What you do from this step is you take this square root. So in your calculator, you're going to type the square root of 225 and press equals. You should have got 15. So you typed it in your calculator, you should get 15. So from there, what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to continue on this problem. So bring down my x, my equals, that negative 1 plus or minus, and this is where I stop. Because last time I was just writing square root of whatever, whatever, whatever. Well, I just did the square root there, and I got 15. So instead of writing square root of 225, I'm just going to go ahead and write 15 there. So now it says -1 plus or minus 15 over 4. And notice there's no longer that square root symbol here. Once you get the answer, no square root symbol. Sometimes you might get a decimal, but I recommend if you get a decimal, go back and check your work, make sure that everything is good, and then you can move forward. Okay, and then from here, what you're going to do is you just split basically the plus and the minus. So I'm going to have 1 x equals -1 plus 15. So what I'm splitting is this plus or minus right here, not this negative. Some of you guys were switching it earlier last time, and I don't want you to do that. So we're just splitting it there. So -1 plus 15 over 4, that's going to be one answer. My other answer is going to be x equals -1 minus 15 over 4. So the middle sign changes. Now I'm going to go ahead and just continue through and solve here. So -1 plus 15 is 14 over 4. I'm going to go ahead and divide these. 14 divided by 4. 14 divided by 4 is 3.5. So I have x is equal to positive 3.5. And then I'm going to go down here. X is equal to -1 minus 15 is -16 over 4. Now I'm going to go ahead and divide these. -16 divided by 4 is x equals -4. And we're done there.